We begin with that testimony today on the response to the Uvalde shooting 4 weeks ago today. Today's hearing comes in the wake of new photos from inside Robb Elementary, like this one obtained by Tony Poletsky with our sister station in Austin. It shows the scene in the school's hallway at 11:52 a.m. on May 24th. That's about 20 minutes after the gunman entered the school and about an hour before police finally entered the classroom. You see in the photo one officer with a ballistic shield and one officer holding a rifle. And these revelations are landing like bombshells for the victims' families who are still trying to come to grips with what happened that day. Ryan Ramirez lost his daughter Alethea and can't believe authorities were unwilling to try and save her.
And I just don't understand why that happened, and how can you sworn to protect and you just hid behind a wall for 77 minutes. Couldn't stand looking at that photo because on the other side of that wall, my daughter was in there for 77 minutes with that gunman.
Let's bring in Rebecca Lopez, who's covered law enforcement for decades and reported from Uvalde after the shooting.
Rebecca, you listened carefully today as DPS laid out the timeline of this massacre.
Cynthia, what we are hearing coming out of Uvalde is extremely disturbing. Police with rifles, tactical gear, and ballistic shields stood outside that classroom and did nothing. And they wasted valuable time waiting for a key to the classroom that they didn't even need.
Special committee to protect all Texans will come to order. Senators.
The head of DPS, Steve McCraw, went minute by minute through the timeline of the shooting at Robb Elementary. And he says it was clear from the start there were multiple failures.
Not enough training was done, plain and simple, because of bad decisions, terrible decisions. Terrible decisions were made by the on-scene commander and should have never happened, plain and simple.
He says the gunman entered the school at 11:33 a.m. and started shooting. 3 minutes later at 11:55, 3 Uvalde police officers entered the school. 2 of them had rifles. At 11:36, 5 more officers went inside, including Chief Pete Arredondo. McCraw says any one of them should have gone into the classroom to take down the shooter.
You got to get in there, plain and simple.
But they didn't go in, and the suspect kept firing. At 11:41:30, a dispatcher asked if the door was locked, to which one Uvalde police officer replied, "I'm not sure, but we have a hooligan to break it." McCraw says after looking at all the video, he believes the classroom door was never locked.
The door was unsecured, and we've gone back and checked in our interviews, and did anybody touch the door and try it? How about, do you need a key? Well, one of the things they teach you in active training, I'm sure that one of the experts can talk about it, how about trying the door and see if it's unlocked?
More officers arrived, including 2 DPS troopers and 7 Border Patrol agents. At 11:52:08, the first ballistic shield arrives capable of stopping rifle rounds. At 11:53:10, someone asks if there are any children inside. A DPS trooper comments, if there is, then they just need to go in. But they don't. At 11:56:39, more officers say if there's kids in there, we need to go in there. More ballistic shields arrive. Yet at 12:11, Chief Arredondo asked for a master key. And at 12:17:22, as SWAT teams arrive, he says, tell them to expletive wait. No one comes in.
There was always a reason to wait.
At 12:21, the gunman fires again. 3 minutes later, the chief tries to communicate with the shooter and keeps asking for more keys as more equipment to breach the door arrives. Finally, at 12:46:18, Arredondo says, if y'all are ready to do it, you do it. At 12:50:03, 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 8 seconds into the incident, the Border Patrol breaches the classroom and kills the shooter. During the time that they're waiting, children and teachers are calling, begging for help. One of the teachers died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, and you wonder how many lives could have been saved if someone would have gone in sooner.
To that point, Rebecca, I saw several instances in Iraq and Afghanistan where soldiers and Marines, disregarded protocol or orders if they say, saw a comrade in danger. Could any of those officers just have gone in anyway?
Look, If those officers had followed their training, they would have gone in right away with no need to get orders from anyone. In most situations, you would not disregard an incident commander, but they could have and possibly faced discipline afterwards. But in this situation, if they have saved more kids, they probably would have gotten a commendation instead of criticism.
So, Rebecca, could any of the other agencies, like DPS, who were on scene, taken command away from Arredondo?
Again, typically that's not done, but for example, if there was a huge shooting in Dallas involving a school and DPD arrived, they would most likely take command of the scene and work with DISD commanders. And remember, in Uvalde, there were DPS troopers in the school. They were there, and they have statewide jurisdiction. They definitely don't have to follow the orders from the local school chief. Back to you guys.